What's going on, guys? It's Clutch Hoops here, and today we're going to be doing the second official Clutch Hoops mock draft because a lot has changed since my last one back in early February. Usually during this time of year, the NBA draft becomes a huge topic of interest with the NCAA tournament and the end of season approaching, but things have changed drastically. I had a whole plan to do a mock draft once a month leading up to the NBA draft, but with the current status of the NBA and NCAA, I will definitely be changing things up a little bit. Tell me if you guys want to see less or even more mock drafts in the meantime down below in the comments. However, there have been significant changes to the teams in the draft lottery and the prospects draft stocks since the last mock draft, which will alter a lot of the draft prospects' destinations. In this video, the draft order will be determined by win percentage and there will be no trades allowed. With that out of the way, let's get right into the official Clutch Hoops mock draft 2.0. With the first overall pick, the Golden State Warriors select James Wiseman. The Warriors basically have every single position set on their team except the center position. James Wiseman is the best center on the board and the fit is absolutely perfect. The Warriors don't have much length with Draymond playing the 4, and James Wiseman will give the Warriors a much needed paint protector and rebounder. Wiseman is a 7'1" center with a 7'6" wingspan and a great amount of athleticism. His physical attributes line up exactly with some of the NBA's best centers like Joel Embiid and Hassan Whiteside, which is one reason he's so loved among NBA scouts. On top of this, he's shown a promising post game with the potential to be able to shoot 3-point shots in the NBA. Also, James Wiseman will immediately make a huge impact on the Warriors' overall defense as he averaged 5 blocks per 36 minutes in college. Coming into the NBA, don't be surprised if he's one of the best shot blockers immediately, and there are a lot of positives about his game, but he does have quite a few negatives as well. For example, he has terrible hands, clogs the paint, has terrible defensive instincts, and there are major questions about his work ethic. With all these concerns, it would be helpful to see him play a full college season and play in more game action, but he only played 3 games in college. His stock has been plummeting ever since leaving college, and for good reasons, but if the Warriors are picking in the draft lottery, the pick will be James Wiseman. It's hard to say if the Warriors will actually use their pick, but with the defensive frontcourt of Wiseman and Draymond alongside Clay and Steph, the Warriors will be right back in championship contention. Number 2, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Anthony Edwards. Colin Sexton has broken out recently, and Darius Garland was drafted in the top 5 last year, but the Cavs still need to take Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards has all the talent in the world to be a star in the NBA, and that's exactly what the Cavs need. Currently, the Cavs have a good frontcourt with Kevin Love and Andre Drummond and are not too far away from playoff contention. However, the Cavs need a star player to bring them over the top, which is exactly what Anthony Edwards can possibly bring them to this team. His 6'5", 225-pound frame with freak athletic abilities will be hard for any defender to stop. On top of this, he can score at all 3 levels and uses his athletic gifts to create shots for himself and his teammates. His defense has serious potential with his frame and athleticism, which may allow him to play with Sexton and Garland on the court at the same time, and it also makes him such a special talent. Overall, Anthony Edwards has shown that he can play on and off the ball, and if the Cavs have the second overall pick, taking Anthony Edwards is a no-brainer for them. Number 3, the Timberwolves select Onyeka Okongwu. One of the recent risers in the draft has been the 6'9" power forward/center out of USC, Onyeka Okongwu. In every single game, Onyeka has a huge impact on his team and is flat out the best player on the floor. He is the 3rd best plus-minus in all of college basketball, and keep in mind that he's a freshman on an average USC team that went 22-9. His impact on the defensive side of the ball is evident in every single possession, and he is a beast in the pick and roll game. Playing at Chino Hills, he developed great hands and he will catch anything that's thrown his way. On top of this, he rolls to the rim with force and is a relentless finisher. His post game is very advanced for a 19-year-old, and he has improved greatly each year and projects to continue to do so. Cat is not the best defender and would much rather focus on his offensive side of the game, which makes Okongwu the perfect fit in Minnesota. Okongwu will hold down the defensive duties and do all the little things for the Timberwolves while allowing Cat and D'Lo to take over on the offensive side of the ball. Once Okongwu develops a short mid-range jumper, which will probably take about a season or 2, he is a great possibility of becoming another go-to option for the Timberwolves late in games. The fit and talent correspond perfectly here for the Timberwolves, and Okongwu could be the missing piece the Wolves need to make the playoffs. Number 4, the Hawks select Deni Avdija. The Hawks are stacked with young talent at every single position, but the player who would improve their team the most is the Israeli small forward Deni Avdija. The Hawks could take multiple players with this pick or it could be traded, but Denny Advidja has too much talent at a relatively needy position for the Hawks. He's a 6'9" small forward who has shown this season that he can play well off the ball. He's been a ball-dominant small forward his entire life, but after one short season playing off the ball against great competition in the EuroLeague, he has been a huge contributor. He has a smooth shot that will translate to the NBA and uses his length and strength to defend at a high level, which will be one of his strengths coming into the NBA. The Hawks would have a Swiss Army knife in Denny, which would add a great player to an already stacked roster. The Hawks don't really have any positions of need, and Denny Advidja fits the core the best. With the 5th overall pick, the Detroit Pistons select Lamelo Ball. Since there are no trades in this mock draft, Lamelo Ball will fall to the 5th pick solely due to the fact that all the teams in the top 4 have their point guard position under control. The Pistons get the most talented player in the draft, who will be paired with one of the best dunkers in the entire NBA in Blake Griffin. Lamelo is a growing 6'7" point guard who is one of the best playmakers and passers we have ever seen coming into the NBA draft. He can make any pass on the floor and completes passes that seem risky but are just routine for him. He has potential to be a good defender with his length, but will need to exhibit more effort on that side of the ball. His finishing around the rim is relatively clean, and he has performed tremendously playing in Australia. The one huge swing factor about his game is his shot, and depending on how well he can keep defenders honest in the pick and roll game will determine how effective he is in the NBA. The Pistons get their franchise point guard and finally have hope for the future, which has been missing for a while. Number 6, the New York Knicks select Killian Hayes. The Knicks miss out on Lamelo Ball, but still get one of the best available point guards in Killian Hayes. The 6'5" French point guard who is currently playing in Germany has one of the best offensive games in the entire NBA draft. He excels in the pick and roll game and will make every single right read when facilitating with his left hand. He is 18 years old playing professional basketball in Germany in the Euro Cup, where he averages 12 points and 5 assists in 26 minutes per game. To put this into perspective, another former Knicks point guard, Frank Ntilikina, who played in the same league as Killian, averaged 5 points and 1 assist before being drafted 9th overall in the draft. Killian has some minor weaknesses like using his body to protect the ball, but his main weakness is that he struggles attacking with his right hand. When he drives with his right hand, he will always pull up for a jump shot, even when he has the ability to easily draw a foul or make a layup. On the bright side though, the fact that this is his only weakness is promising because it is easily fixable with more experience in the NBA. Killian is going to be quite a bit of a project, but the Knicks are going nowhere and definitely have time to develop him. The Knicks have been looking for their franchise point guard for 20 years now, and they might just have their guy in Killian Hayes. With the 7th overall pick, the Chicago Bulls select Obi Toppin. Coby White has emerged from a very inefficient, turnover-prone player into one of the best rookies we have seen this entire season. The Bulls are definitely going to be sticking with Coby White as their starting point guard for the meantime, which then allows them to pick Obi Toppin. Obi is a 22-year-old sophomore at Dayton who has shown that he can rebound, block shots, and make three-pointers at a very effective rate. These qualities are very important in today's NBA, and I haven't even mentioned his relentless motor, effective post-game, and pick-and-roll game. He has been dominating in college, and his game will translate to the NBA better than any other prospect in the entire NBA draft. Obi can play the 5 as well, which will allow the Bulls to play Markkanen and Obi at the same time. Obi's age may scare away some teams, but due to his high floor and possibility of becoming a John Collins type player, Bulls fans should be excited about this pick. Number 8. The Hornets select Isaac Okoro. The Hornets have their backcourt set and are looking for any type of talent to add to this roster. Isaac Okoro is the perfect fit because he's a big project that the Hornets have time for since they are nowhere near championship contention. Isaac Okoro will come into the NBA as one of the best defenders but lacks a developed offensive game. He does use his athleticism to get to the rim, but his shot is lackluster and he hasn't shown any sort of playmaking skills at Auburn this season. His shot looks promising and there is potential with his playmaking, but it will take at least a season or two for these to develop. The Hornets need talent to surround this already pretty young and talented backcourt, and adding a player like Okoro who has Jimmy Butler type potential would be a great addition. Reaching for the Hornets' two biggest needs at center or power forward at this draft slot is not worth it, which gives this pick flexibility in the trade market. With the 9th overall pick, the Washington Wizards select Tyrese Halliburton. John Wall is coming off a torn ACL and ruptured Achilles, which will make him a much worse player than before. The Wizards have been itching for a point guard who can get Bradley Beal the ball and facilitate for the people around him, which is exactly what they get with Tyrese Haliburton. He's a 6'5" point guard out of Iowa State who has seen his draft stock skyrocket this season as he's averaged 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists on 50% from the field and 42% from 3-point range. The reason he fell to pick 9 is because he's a 20-year-old sophomore with a very awkward and slow shooting form who recently injured himself for the next few months. Overall, the Wizards get a playmaking guard who actually plays defense on their team. Number 10. The Phoenix Suns select Cole Anthony. The Suns have Ricky Rubio, but desperately need a better point guard to make the playoffs in the Western Conference. Cole Anthony will come in as a scoring point guard who fits nicely with Devin Booker because Devin will make up for Cole's lack of facilitating and playmaking. Cole's game will translate much better to the NBA with more floor spacing, and he will play much better next to quality teammates. Playing at North Carolina with terrible teammates, Cole has had to face constant defensive attention, yet he has still been aggressive as he's averaged 19 points and 4 assists per game. He gets to the rim with ease, shoots well from deep, and will open the floor up for Kelly Oubre and Devin Booker. If Cole pans out, he will definitely help make the Suns competitive again. Number 11. The Spurs select Tyrese Maxey. With DeMar DeRozan set to hit the free agent market, the Spurs need to go young and get their shooting guard for the future in Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey has all the talent in the world, but has been very streaky in college. He has shown glimpses of star potential and extreme amounts of talent. With the Spurs coaching staff, he will thrive. He's one of the biggest hit-or-miss prospects in the entire draft and is someone the Spurs could really use on their young roster. Number 12. The Sacramento Kings select RJ Hampton. RJ Hampton is 6'5", 190 pounds, and still one of the younger draft prospects as he just turned 19, so he has a lot of room to grow and get stronger. He's very athletic and uses his first step to get by defenders relatively easy. He still needs to develop his jump shot and playmaking skills, but would be a perfect fit on the Kings alongside Buddy Hield and De'Aaron Fox. Bogdan Bogdanovic may be released in free agency, and Buddy Hield has been frustrated with his role as of recent and even kind of requested a trade, so adding a young talented shooting guard in RJ Hampton to replace one of them would not be a terrible idea. With the 13th overall pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Devin Vassell. The Pelicans need more shooting around Zion and Brandon Ingram, which is exactly what Devin Vassell will do. Vassell is a 6'7" shooting guard / small forward who has made 42% of his 3-point shots this season at Florida State. He will step into the NBA as a 3-and-D player early in his career and will help space the floor for Zion and Brandon Ingram. Adding more shooters to this Pelicans team can't hurt and adds even more depth to this already deep team. Number 14. The Trailblazers select Aleksej Pokusevski. The Trailblazers need difference makers, and Alec could be one of the best players coming out of the entire NBA draft. He's a 7-footer who can shoot, drive to the rim, and pass the ball. He's still very frail and needs to put on a lot more weight, but Alec has so much potential in the NBA. Alec will need some time in the G League to develop as he's only 18 years old, but you don't see many 7-footers with his athletic abilities. Tell me what you guys thought about this mock draft and what changes you guys would make. Also, tell me if you agree with me who your favorite team picked and the reasoning behind it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if so, make sure you like and subscribe. With that said, I'm out, and peace!